everybody, and happy October, and all your Libras who are celebrating between October 1st to October the 15th. Happy birthday. So really quick information what's going to happen. I'm going to do a quick Celtic cross, which is going to be clarified with Gypsy Oracle cards, the cards that we need to clarify, and then you can actually ask your question and that I will give you an answer. So any of the three categories. So this also applies for cross watchers, because after all, you're bringing energy to this reading as well. So let's jump right in. Hi Pisces, welcome to your bi-weeklies. So let's jump right in. Well, bottom of the deck, the world of rules. Good Lord. Six of Swords, the Hierophant reverse, and the world being the major one. I think it was basically moving on from you guys. It was moving away to a better place, or from a person that maybe didn't apply the same sets of rules. Somebody maybe was a teacher for a part of the way, maybe somebody who you cherish, maybe somebody who you looked up to, but it was the time to actually move to the next stage. And maybe it was somebody who was not committing to you as well, or somebody who was even continuously misleading you purposely. So let's see how this really plays out in your reading here. So what do you have? You have Knight of Chalices, lovely, absolutely lovely. Knight in the Shining Armor. So first of all, this has a flavor of you. You are really grounding, you are becoming romantic. When we are romantic, this means literally we are finding our center, and your center, Pisces, is like that unique genuosity, genuine feeling, kind of like knowing, empathy, right, for the other people. And this is basically that universal loving feeling, kind of like embracing the others. And look, this is a heart, this is a mind. Like Seven of Swords is somebody taking something away from you in the upright position, and you sleeping on a clock. In the reverse situation, it is like a mental understanding of something. You had a 6 over here. This is going to the next level of kind of like an aha moment. It kind of clicks in. It's not something that happens because you are planning to make it happen. It just like kind of gets you into new mood. This also could mean that you will be having a different person coming in your life, and that different person could be just immediately telling you, good gosh, this is what I was missing. It's just like kind of like you don't know what you need until you have it. So that's kind of like what it is here. So the root is the death. So you see, this is talking about some pain and some kind of suffering, and not willing to let go of something, because the death in the upright position talks about transformation, talks about moving to the next level, talks about, you know, trying to do something else based on the experiences that didn't work, and realizing why certain things had to end. Now, this is still realization that certain things are just not going in a good direction, but holding on. Well, sometimes I've seen with my clients, and not therapy clients, therapy clients, that sometimes feeling that if they stop thinking about a person they're like interested in or they're in love with, they feel, oh, the connection is going to stop. To some extent that is true, because that's exactly what is the natural ending. So this is either you holding on to something, or somebody is holding on to you, and there is like that energy that is kind of like really unhealthy that is happening here. So it could have been a third party. Actually, I've seen it here as well. We had this like Three of Pentacles. Something wasn't built because of different reasons. Maybe it wasn't right time, maybe it wasn't right place, maybe simply the circumstances were not right, you know. This kind of happens a lot in the circumstances when, for example, somebody's going through divorce and you meet a person who seems to be very nice and everything, but given how many issues are actually coming their way, they're just not capable of juggling everything. And usually, just like in the workplace, the person who comes last goes the first out, and that's kind of like what suffers. So I always warn people, be very careful to involve yourself with people who are going through separation. Simply for you, the healthiest is not to. And there you go, Knave of Wands. It's an enthusiasm. It's kind of charging ahead. You guys are dusting off, getting off your butt, going into the dating world. And this is like for those of you who are already dating, who are with somebody, and you kind of like looking up. You have seen the cat scratching their paws, right? This kind of looks so enthusiastic when they do it. It's just like, this is exactly what they were planning all their lives. And that's kind of like a zest you're going to get in. This is like a huge awakening of passion. Be very careful also not to face the problems head on, because this card is obviously related to that aha moment. Maybe you think just because you had an aha moment that, okay, now it's over, it's done with, I don't have to deal with. No, aha moment is that light. You know, if you're in a dark room and you light a match, then you see everything around you, and you kind of have to sort your way out and figure out a way around this. Like, another thing will be just like forgetting everything that you have learned, this new knowledge, and just like keep bumping into things, because this is what this card is talking about. So let's see how you'll feel in this period. Look at this, you have another Knave, and this is like a Knave of Pentacles. So you are very enthusiastic over something, but you're really stalling over something. This also can talk about a low self-esteem or complete lack of it. It is kind of like romantic and passionate, but just like every beginning, kind of like we kind of like fly on the wings, and then we start positioning ourselves, and that positioning usually means we are better, we are worse, or I just really want to earn this partner, instead of like trying to figure out how is the energy between these two people flowing. It kind of doesn't matter if this person is better off, and this is very kind of like subjective, but sort of like if that is like positive kind of flow, this kind of like is feeling a little bit that is stalling, and maybe you're simply just not pushing it forward as like kind of like you really want to. This is the environment. There's like still reminiscing over something. It's still being stuck in the past. And hey, you're Pisces. We do know you kind of live for these romantic moments. Again, guys, moving forward is basically the key over here for this like 2 weeks. This is kind of asking you, like, if I'm guiding you toward the door, and you will keep bumping into furniture as long as you don't go here, where I'm asking you to actually focus yourself and go in that direction. So let's see your hopes and your fears. That will be you guys. The moon represents Pisces, and it looks like you are going to kind of like tap into your intuition, not instincts, into your intuition. And even though maybe you avoided problems or issues on a kind of head level, this also could represent the bills and dealing with financial issues and not really jumping on it where maybe you should and you end up paying penalties. This could mean emotional issues where you are kind of like stuck about something still from the past, and it is due to things that happened to you. So even though you get it, you still cannot help feeling for this person. And this is how the brain works. We still feel and feel and feel because somehow we managed to kind of erase all these bad memories, right? And this kind of like talks about romanticizing the past, right? So let's see what is the trajectory that can or can be changed for you. Yay. Lovely. Tower. And you know what this happened? That happened because of this. It happened because the Tower is saying, look guys, you just cannot continue with this. There is the time that you need to really apply this epiphany and apply this like newfound knowledge. Tower is a shakedown. The Tower generally represents Aries and Scorpio at the same time. It is the way of dealing with issues. Aries, just like here, as you see it, right? Kind of like pushing it forward and moving on issues externally, where Scorpio is like dealing with issues internally, meaning like you have to fix everything in and out. So this is usually some event that happens that kind of shakes you down. That can even be an argument. That can be argument with yourself, right? Which we call anxiety. And that means you kind of want something, but your head is telling you, well, maybe it's not possible. And hence there is like this back and forth, really quick communication that is like feeling that, right? Kind of where do I go from here? So let's clarify a few things here for you guys. So four major arcanas. So I see this as a pattern in my readings for this bi-weekly, and this is possible because we are switching to Jupiter in Scorpio, and given that Scorpio did kind of like come out twice in your reading, this Jupiter in Scorpio will be beneficial for you. And it looks like you are being forced to gain clarity of your own affairs, of your own issues, kind of like to orient yourself where you are and why you feel a certain way. Hi, Xavi. Hi, Xavi. What? Hi, Xavi. You want to say hi to Pisces? Okay, now I changed the configuration on the table. So now basically the monitor sits on the side, and she's like really more intrigued in monitor and seeing the emotions there than actually coming and honoring people. So you see how easy it is to fool the cat. But we cannot fool karma the same way, because that's when the Tower steps in. That's when we really have to sit and kind of like look into those issues. So you seem to have to come to terms with something, because when Jupiter enters Scorpio is going to be in your 9th house. So, okay, so the 9th house rules adventurous distant travel, foreign people and places, and international relationships. You kind of like are entering very happy phase because it's your fellow water sign, but it also depends on the other aspects you have. And guys, always I recommend looking into main sign, ascendant, and that's simply kind of like really important, because main sign is sort of like your assignment. It's not anything you can change, but ascendant is what actually you can modify and work with, right? So the fact that Scorpio is coming out twice is telling me that you literally are being called to clean the stuff from the past, right? So if you are guys looking for immigration somewhere, you will be getting really your passport or paperwork, whatever you're looking for, right? And this is also very good for the legal issues, right? So this is for you, the 9th house is a new territory for discovery, right? And it is the house of a deep curiosity about life, and this is kind of like setting you up on the kind of like right path. So let me just check this first issue you need to deal with some resentments and wrongs from the past. Okay. Could have been the 3rd person. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what do you have here? You have foe, pleasure seekers, wife, and haughtiness. For some of you, it could have been that you have been cheated on. For the others, it could have been that, well, that there was basically a 3rd person interfering somehow, in some way. This doesn't have to be cheating. It could be a mother-in-law, it could be a good-willing friend that kind of like spoils your mood and kind of like adds few kind of digs in there, and like sort of like the feeling when you're in such a great mood and then somebody says something that immediately kind of turns everything kind of sour. This also could mean that you're dealing with a rival. That rival can be anything. It could be another person. It could be some interference at work. It could be another issue you're dealing with. I don't know, for example, addiction. So it's kind of like really hard to devote on two levels. But most likely, there is still a pain of something that hasn't been healed from the past. And even though I kind of like see in the immediate past, for some of you it was a third party or some kind of gossip, something kind of like ferocious, there is a deeper issue. And this is why the Scorpio is showing up. It kind of, you have to go deep, because something is festering on the bottom is going to spoil all those apples on the top. So you have to kind of come to all your own glory and feel being proud about yourself and understand that it actually hasn't been your fault, and kind of like really find the tools of dealing with that and going forward. So let me see this moon. That's most likely you. See, prison. That's why you got a Tower. Prison is a whole bunch of things. It could be a marriage. It could be being strict with your ideas, being strict with your thinking, or dealing with people who are like not very flexible. This card is interesting because you see, this vase is not just like artist rendition. This vase is talking about magic. That magic does really come from inside, right? And so shedding a light on some structures that you had in your life and certain things that were not movable. So that definitely was you guys. And look, something, you're going to get an idea which ideas were false, because you're having a prison and falseness. And maybe you kind of have some kind of self-imposed beliefs that up to this point were kind of like very important to you. Maybe you're going to see things in a completely different way. Maybe it's certainly coming to the surface, whatever it was down deep below. So yeah, Jupiter is a great occasion, and here you had also love jumping out right on the world. So love is awaiting you. This is like a moving to the next stage, and it's kind of really hard to love. Like you want to give to somebody a bucket of apples if the bottom apples are rotten. So you want to be the best you can be, and also you want that from your partner as well. That this is the whole idea. We kind of like start relating to each other, so on the surface everything seems to be fine, and then you remove one layer, second layer, third layer, and it's holy smoke, right? And that's when the trouble starts, right? And let's see this Tower here. Secrets, money, treasuries. It's kind of like a very complex card. Let me get a few more for Pisces. Clarify the Tower, please. Pisces, clarify the Tower. Pisces, Tower. Yes, look at that. It's going to shake you down on, again, some secrets or some kind of like you need to bring something to the surface, because the money card is, yes, a financial card. Maybe some of you will be dealing with setting up your finances straight, and this kind of like here was saying this a little bit. So you're going to go in a new direction, and you will kind of like figure out maybe new ways of dealing with things and finding what has to kind of like leave. That, you see, this kind of can be like what we are like really holding on to. We see certain kind of bags here that do have the nomination, but look at these books. We do not know what is in there. So you'll be setting yourself on the path of the discovery on this knowledge, and in a kind of like looking for and giving this loyalty, this faithfulness, and you'll be really, really dedicated, because you understand the importance of you kind of like changing to a much higher quality person. So guys, you're coming to yourself, and there is a love here, absolutely good thing. So you need to kind of like turn on the light. That's really the key here. Now ask a question. I have already pulled cards from 2 decks, and I'm going to shuffle this one as well and kind of like get the answers for you. So we have door number 1 and door number 2. Let's see. And door number 3 that flew all the way across my dining room. So for those of you who picked this one, you have cat magic, the magician. You have the Empress reversed. And then you have 4 of fire. For those of you who picked this category, you're willing to move forward with something. You are saying you want to be nurtured, but like you still have to do this work yourself, because the Empress is basically that mother, creativity, children, and this kind of like could indicate marriage, but you still have to do some work inside when Empress is reversed, because somebody is clinging onto something, whether this is the past or old patterns. Here you can really move on. This is a next stage of something. So what do you want to bring to the next stage? Do you really want to have it all repaired and functioning, or do you want to continue same old, same old? Because this is one of the first basic stages of tarot journey. When you have the magician, is the very first thing that you're doing is learning tools. And this is a lesson number 3, where you're supposed to go into kind of birth of new ideas, and this is the phase where some of you are getting stuck. So the answer here is reluctant yes. The reason for that is like, do you really want that? Because when you fix yourself, maybe certain things are not going to have the same impact or same kind of like it might not be in your best interest. Let me put it this way. For those of you who picked door number 2, okay, so I first had these 2 cards jumping kind of like simultaneously on 2 different things, and these 2 first cards were Knight of Swords reversed and 10 of Swords. That's most likely feeling that we have after an argument, when somebody says something bad, where we do feel like, oh my gosh, we are on the bottom. The good news about it is like the chips have fallen down. This could have been some argument, or this issue still has a peak to reach, and after this peak it's going to be kind of like almost like crashing bottom. So the healing is going to take place. And then we have here 6 of Swords. Again, look at this, 3 swords. This is like really mental. 8 of Cups and the World. Again, remember you had a world and it was clarified with love. So most likely you're Pisces if you pick this one, this kind of example. So 6 of Swords means you want to come back to something, you want to resolve certain issues, and that could be partially kind of resolving this inability to deal with issues, but part of you wants to leave and it is a time to move on. So there is like this debate, which way do I go, right? But the world spins only in one direction. If you come back, just come back to kind of maybe not to burn the bridge, but it is a time for you guys to move on. Because look at this, you have the 3 thinking things, and all 3 are not exactly great cards. But the World is like extremely positive card, meaning that this decision is going to be the right decision. So somebody is walking away over here, and that is going to be beneficial for everybody. And the door number 3, wow, 7 of Swords, but it is upright right now. Here, be very careful. You might think you're getting your way, but the other party is just like doing whatever they want to do. Be very careful of sneaky behavior and give people benefit of the doubt, but be also careful with how deep you want to go into this, because people will be trying to convince you into something that's possibly not happening. And when you see the checkerboard in tarot cards, this is talking about duality. It is talking about not everything is like as it seems, and it happens when a person kind of like wants to tell us that they are doing their best for us, and we don't really see it, we don't feel it. So there is again the communication flow that is basically not happening. So this is going to be a lot in your head, or maybe this also can feel that you are really needing to get a closure, that you need to get that why question answered, and you're not going to get it answered by the other person. You have to look for the answers deep inside of you. So Pisces, this is a general reading. General reading means, yeah, you have to give this whole entire 2 weeks to make it work. Also, it means it picks up on the energy of so many over here. So for your private reading, please contact me at www.cattarot.ca. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share, and visit me on my Facebook. So until the next time, you know that I love you. All the best.